Silverstone produced a win, a double podium, and a speed trap reading that Toto Wolff described on Sunday afternoon by saying, "Ferrari did something on the energy side." That sentence from the man running the team that has won every race except 2 this season was the most significant public acknowledgement that the competitive picture in 2026 has changed. But here is what Wolff did not say. What Ferrari found at Silverstone is not the ceiling. It is a flaw. The 15 kilowatts gained from the combination of aerodynamic efficiency and energy management at Silverstone was described internally as nearly a game-changer. A number that produced the speed trap results that shocked Ferrari's own engineers, gave Hamilton his sprint pole, and gave Leclerc the platform to build a race-winning gap before Antonelli's mechanical failure changed the narrative. That same 15 kilowatts gain is now going to every circuit. Charles Leclerc confirmed it himself after the race. "I can definitely carry this change we made yesterday onto every single track. So that gave me the confidence that I will do a step forward from now on. Every single track, not Silverstone specific, not a circuit-specific workaround. A structural change in how the SF26 manages its energy that translates to every layout on the calendar. And underneath that confirmation sits a development pipeline that most coverage of the British Grand Prix resulted at all. A third major aerodynamic package in preparation under Leclerc's team targeting Zandvoort after the summer break. A second ADUO token arriving within 5 races, focused on the turbocharger. The component Ferrari's own engineers have identified as the area with the most remaining improvement potential. And a software mapping update already running alongside the first ADO homologation that has unlocked more advanced engine modes than the car was using before Silverstone. Silverstone was not the destination. It was the first confirmation that the destination is reachable. The 15 kilowatts figure needs context before it can be properly understood. This is not 15 kilowatts from the engine. It is 15 kilowatts recovered from the interaction between aerodynamic efficiency and energy management. The combination of the Silverstone-specific low-drag package and a revised deployment strategy that held energy back through the earlier corners and released it on the straights where it converted directly into top speed. To put that number in racing terms, 15 kilowatts is approximately 20 horsepower. At Silverstone Speed Trap, it is the difference between Hamilton's 323 km per hour and where Ferrari had been sitting at previous circuits. It is the margin that moved Ferrari from 4th in the speed trap, their typical position all season, to 1st. What makes this more than a Silverstone story is the word "Leclerc" used every. He did not say Silverstone suits this approach. He did not say certain circuit types. He said every single track. That is a driver who has spent the season understanding the SF26's behavior deeply enough to know when a change in the car's setup philosophy is genuinely transferable versus when it is circuit-dependent. Leclerc has been struggling for confidence with this car. He said so publicly after Silverstone, but the change made on Saturday, whatever specific adjustment to how the car manages its energy deployment across a lap, gave him enough certainty to make that statement without qualification. When a driver who has been cautious all season about overpromising suddenly says a change works everywhere, it is worth taking seriously. And the engineers who built that change at Maranello now have the data to validate whether the simulator predicted it correctly. If it did, every circuit from Belgium onwards is a different proposition for the SF26 than every circuit before Silverstone was. Ferrari has now completed 2 major aerodynamic packages in 2026. Miami was the first 11 parts, the largest single upgrade any team brought to any race this season. Barcelona was the second. The front wing, floor, side pods, and wheel rims that turned Hamilton's car into a race winner and produced the tire management performance that the paddock spent 3 weeks trying to explain. The third package is in preparation at Maranello right now, targeting the first race after the summer break. The ideal target from Ferrari's perspective is Zandvoort, a circuit that sits immediately before Monza in the calendar, making it the last opportunity to validate a major aerodynamic step before Ferrari's home race, where expectations from the TFOs will be at their highest point of the season. Zandvoort itself is an interesting choice as a target circuit. It is medium to high downforce with a mix of high speed and technical corners that reward aerodynamic balance rather than pure peak load. It does not expose the SF26's straight-line limitation as severely as Spa or Monza will, which means the aerodynamic package can demonstrate its cornering efficiency in conditions that are broadly representative without being immediately compromised by the power deficit. If the third package validates as planned at Zandvoort, Ferrari arrives at Monza carrying 3 complete aerodynamic upgrade steps, a revised energy deployment philosophy that LLC says works everywhere, and the second ADO token on the turbocharger. That is not a car that will be described as lacking a weak spot in the same way it has been described all season. The question of timing is the only open variable. Ferrari's development budget under the cost cap has been invested heavily in the first half of the season. Wohl noted publicly that Ferrari appeared to be throwing upgrades at the car at a rate that surprised even Mercedes. Whether the pace of that investment has left enough headroom under the cost cap for a third comprehensive package at Zandvoort is a question only Ferrari's finance department can answer precisely. What the engineering department has confirmed is that the package is in preparation. The first ADO token, the combustion chamber modifications and shell fuel reformulation that arrived in Austria, produced a modest but measurable improvement that was masked at the Red Bull Ring by altitude and thermal conditions and fully revealed at Silverstone. The second token is different in scale and in target. Ferrari's engineers have specifically identified the turbocharger as the area with the most remaining improvement potential compared to the frontrunners. This is not a new observation. Ferrari deliberately chose a smaller turbocharger before the season began to prioritize standing start performance over peak straight-line power. The FIA then changed the pre-start procedure mid-season, reducing the advantage that choice was designed to deliver. The smaller turbo's drag on straight-line performance remained without the compensating benefit it was intended to provide. The second ADO token addresses this directly. A revised turbocharger specification, potentially a larger unit better suited to peak power delivery at sustained high speeds, represents the kind of architectural change that the first token focused on combustion chamber optimization could not provide. Combined with the software mapping update already running alongside the first ADO homologation and with the energy deployment philosophy that LLC confirmed works everywhere, a revised turbocharger arriving within 5 races from Silverstone changes the fundamental characteristic of the SF26's straight-line performance in a way no amount of aerodynamic load drag optimization can fully replicate. The timing is deliberate. Zandvoort for the third aerodynamic package. Monza, or somewhere in the window between Zandvoort and the Italian Grand Prix for the second power unit token, is the picture Maranello has been working towards since before the season began. The second ADU token is coming within 5 races. What comes between Belgium and Monza will tell us whether Ferrari can reach it before the championship gap becomes too large to